All right, we're back. Uh, Mike's here. I'm here. Al's not here yet. Hopefully he'll be in. I don't know. But we talked a little bit a while back about, what to do about this gun control. And they're hitting us from so many different directions and so much information about what they want to do. As I've been talking to people, I haven't really noticed people talking about it much. Like a couple of years back, when they were trying to get us, just a second, you have a little problem here. Let me get rid of that dang thing. It's annoying the heck out of me there. The last time we had a big push to gun control, I mean, it was a talk all over the place. Everybody was talking about it. All my friends, everybody on Facebook, people I know, people I barely know were talking about it. People were signing stuff and calling in, and I kind of noticed that it's not that way this time. Now, I don't know, and I think it's a combination of a few different things, and I think some of the people are just feeling so defeated after Obamacare getting passed, and then it getting to the Supreme Court, which was ridiculous. I think the fix was in, but, I don't know. Then Obama gets reelected again. So I think some people are just kind of sitting there going in a daze or just feeling like, defeated, like they can't do anything to stop them. Well, if you feel like that, you need to wake up. You need to get it back and start going. And hardly anybody I've known either signed a petition, sent emails, letters, phone calls to their representatives. Hardly any of them have. And part of it, they're saying, well, I'm getting so much information that they want to get rid of AR-15s and guns like that, so-called assault weapons. But then I know, and the ones that are really listening know, that they want to get rid of all of them, basically. They've already said it over and over and over again. But then when they're confronted with it, they say, oh, well, we don't want to do that. We just, want to, we don't want to mess with hunting or protection or anything. We just, want to get rid of assault weapons. But their definition of assault weapons is guns with clips, guns that hold multiple rounds, guns that have are semi-automatic, basically anything that's not a one-shot type deal is what they're after. And if you don't believe me, go look, because, well, if you don't believe me, you're not going to believe me. And you probably shouldn't be listening to this show because the information's out there all over the place. And so a couple of shows ago, we were talking about what to do, get a big group together, go to D.C., or maybe start here local, and everybody just start in their local area, maybe their state capital or something. Because that's where you're going to find the representatives. I'm sorry, my voice is a little messed up tonight. That's probably going to be the easiest way. But, they're filling with so much information. Now they're talking about Obama may just, use his little pen like he's done 800 or 900 times already. Well, legally, he can't affect anything but federal employees, but that's not the way they use it. And they'll probably be sneaky and do something. I can imagine different things maybe, but I'm sure it'll be something I have no clue, or they may just come in and try to tax the hell out of guns and ammo where you can't afford it. Which if they got Obamacare through as a tax through the Supreme Court, that's what I'm thinking they might try to do, just tax the heck out of it. And which all they'll do is drive the prices up, and people will still buy guns. And it won't solve anything. It'll just get more money for them to spend, and that's all they want to do really anyway. When they can't get one thing, they go for the other. We know they want to get rid of guns. So, what steps are they going to take? Maybe it's little steps, maybe it's big steps. I think if they try to hit us hard and get rid of, with a massive gun control, law, they're just asking for trouble. And if they do that, that means they are asking for trouble, and they want it. So I guess we'll get ready to find out. Because if they just do it incrementally, then maybe they're not ready for trouble yet. I just don't know what they're going to do. And I think that's where some people are just kind of sitting back going, well, I don't know. Well, we don't know yet what they're going to do, but we got to step up to the plate and do our part of it and let our representatives know if they sell us out, we're going to kick them out. And if they really understand that, they'll stop it. Maybe they won't do it because they want to, because I think a lot of the Republicans up there, or so-called Republicans, are going to sell us out, and they probably want it too. But if they think they're going to get kicked out of power, which is money and power is all they really want anyway, most of them. I don't think hardly any of them there for good reasons. But if they think they're going to get kicked out, then they'll do whatever we tell them to a certain extent. And I think this is one they'll stand up to the plate and do something if you force them. So what I'm basically urging people to do is get out and do something. Now, I'm still working on my plan and a group of people, and we'll talk more about it on the show when we get more information and sit down and try to get definite plans. So on to something else for a minute. I'm going to see, I think it's Ruger that's got a thing going where you can go to their site, sign up, give the information, and they'll send the appropriate people, representatives in Congress and such, your demand for stopping the gun control push. I haven't read it all. I saw it a while ago, and I need to go back and find it. But I'll go back and find it, and maybe we'll put it up on the website, livefreenews.com. And I'll probably put another link up on bestbugoutbagcontent.com, so y'all be able to find them there. And most of y'all that do listen to this kind of stuff, well, you probably already know that there's a lot of other things going on at the sign, like make the White House a gun-free zone, which is, if they want to, if it's going to be so safe without guns, then, the White House doesn't need any, because that way it's going to be safe. Just trying to show them how ridiculous they're being, which they know they are. They just throw all kinds of stuff out there. They'll sit there and tell you one thing and then turn around and tell you, I never said that, or that's not what that meant. Feinstein sits there and admits they want the guns, all of them. But then they'll say, we didn't say that. We don't want it. We know better. We know what they're. So anyway, we'll get more information on there. Heck, stop by the website and give us some ideas. Either livefreenews.com or bestbugoutbagcontent.com, and I don't care where you leave it on there. You can get to the contact part of it, or you can just leave it in a comment on one of the posts. I'll find it. I get updated on everything that goes in there, on comments and everything. So I'll know about it. I'll find it. So if you got any ideas, go over there and let us know. Mike, what are your thoughts on? Got any? I know you're tired.
No, I'm with you. I think we got to get more involved, and I really think it seems like it's coming to a head, and I think more and more people are going to get involved. I think some of the things they're doing are really polarizing, the country more than I've seen in a long time.
I think it's about war this time. I think they're really going to push us, unless we try hard to. And I believe.
Yeah, and then he's passing executive orders, and really how much legality they have is a big question. But
the slippery, slick people up there, they'll find a way to, if we're not careful, they'll do something. And but whatever they do, first thing we got to do is try to make sure they don't pass a law. and make sure that they can't pass a law. And then if they do try to do something slick, we got to push back. When that time comes, I don't know what the pushback will be. I think that's going to have to be something that's people decide, saying, out and taking your guns out and shooting. I'm saying, what kind of response do we give them to let them know we're serious, that you're not going to get away with it? I don't know what that response will be yet. Demonstrations at all the state capitals, nullification, state nullification of whatever it is. We've been talking about that. I have been looking over at the 10th Amendment Center.org or .com. I think it's .org. Either one. I can't remember. But been looking through some of their stuff. I like what I'm seeing, but I'm still kind of going through their stuff and getting information down, so I'm probably not going to go into that too much. In fact, I'll probably wait till Al gets back on, because he's been more than I have, and once I kind of start to catch up to it, maybe we can have a good conversation about that and what they're doing. I found another website I'm not going to tell you about yet, because I really haven't got into it enough to say it's a good or bad yet. Sometimes you find things that after you go through and find out more about them and see what they're actually doing, research them, see who they are, what they've done in the past, what they've really trying to do. Sometimes it's not exactly the same as what they look like in the first place. So I haven't been on it enough to really know yet. So I will, once I decide whether it's a good website or not and good information, I'll bring that back in. Oh, I should have got some coffee. My throat is, I think my voice is trying to go.
Yeah, I think you need some of your cough syrup.
I probably do. Speaking of cough, now the next step in the hillbilly moonshine thing, or hillbilly cough medicine, get a permit, I think. Ethanol. Because basically you do the same thing, but you don't have to make your mesh for trying to get good flavors. So, and plus you're going to probably have to go back and redistill them to bring the alcohol to use as fuel anyway. And if you do, what I've been finding out is the permit's free.
Oh, really?
The permit's free up to 10,000 gallons. After that, I think it's $25. I don't know if that's $25 a year or $25 one time. From what I do understand, you have to have a separate building or do it outside. I don't know how you could do it outside, even though I see some people doing it on some of the videos. And I'm saying that because when you make it, I think that stuff has to stay in that one building, at least until it's mixed with gasoline. So maybe what they're doing is they're making it, redistilling it, getting it up to the right content, and then mixing it with gasoline. I don't think you're allowed to have it. After you've made it, it's got to go in there, because then it's just moonshine, high stuff. But because you could make it like that and then bring it up to 190 or so proof, and then all you have to do is dilute it back down with distilled water, and you'd have moonshine to drink and add some flavor to it. So I think that's why you have to add it to gas, and that's what I'm understanding so far. But I got to get the permit stuff going and find out exactly what's entailed. And I think.
Do you add to gas or to diesel or what?
You have to add alcohol to the gasoline.
Okay.
Right. Because that's what it's basically for, is for a fuel substitute.
Okay.
To make it go further. Of course, you can modify machines to make them work off pure alcohol. I mean, we've had a couple of race cars in my past that weren't mine, but friends that ran off alcohol. But And one of them ran off a moonshine alcohol type deal. I mean, he made it himself because he had, hundreds and thousands of pounds of corn because he had cornfields all over the damn place. And anyway, plus, okay, let's just go with the separate building. I have a separate building, so that's where it will be. I'm looking for this stuff to get together, a bigger distiller, so I can make a bigger run. A couple pounds at a time, just ain't hacking it. And I want to have it for down the road for, this prepping stuff. It'll be a thing to have then. Good for barter, good for generators off of power equipment, whatever. So I'm looking for some stuff to get that done, and they're going to probably ask if I have one already or if I'm putting it together. I just have to tell them I don't have one yet. I'm putting one together. And sooner or later, they're going to want to stop by and see what you got. So even with that, I would have to have outside building.
So you have to have a reason to have it, like some kind of generator or something.
Well, you add to your car.
Is that what you want to? You're actually going to burn it in your car?
No, I'm going to use it for a generator.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Tiller, whatever, things like that.
Okay.
And barter, if the time came where
right,
I would use it for that too. Plus, I'm going to have to look more into, how to make the alcohol without sugar because, shit hit the fan, your supply of sugar might not be up there unless you, put a whole bunch of it away ahead of time, which I could do. I could get a couple 55-gallon drums and fill them full of sugar for down the road, and then I'd never have to buy any sugar for the house again, probably. So I might even do that. I don't know exactly how far I'm going with this yet. Really depends on as I get into it, how much do I enjoy it, because I'm still going to have to figure out what do I need to do to make it run properly in my lawnmower, my tiller, things like that. Do I need to make any modifications? Is my equipment made to where it can handle the alcohol without tearing it up? My tiller, I don't know if it will. It's an older one. It may not handle it. The gaskets and valves and stuff, they may burn up. So I got to find that kind of stuff out and find out if the newer ones can handle it. It seems like every step I take, it leaves 2 or 3 more extra questions open that I got to go figure out, which is part of the fun of it for me. I like learning things and then researching things. So anyway, I'll have it out in the shop, and sooner or later, we'll get there to that part, and I'll update you on that. So if any of you are thinking about it, at first I was thinking about not getting the permit, but then I'm going, I'm going to. And all this stuff I've run just to learn how to do the other. I'm getting ready to put it all in one batch and redistill it and clean it up and add it to some gasoline in my gasoline storage area outside. So I will be legal.
So how much? What advantages you figure you'll get with the gas? I mean, how much better gas mileage do you think you'll get?
Alcohol does not get as good gas mileage.
No, I mean, but how much money can you save? I mean, you can't run pure alcohol, so
you're not saving any money.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want people to do it unless they're getting they got really good deals on the ingredients and it's making it worth their while to do. But for me, I mean, just think of what sugar prices are. I think it's costing me between 6 and 8 gallons. Probably about $6 to make a gallon out of it.
Really?
So it may be a little less than that. So it's not saving any money. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you're doing it. So it's not really it's just to have some more capabilities. I think. Yeah.
Information for the website and for people and things down the road.
Yeah, I mean, you're preparing in case something happens, and you have some expertise in that.
Yeah, it's fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Me, and maybe in the future may help me. It may help some other people to get this information out, and then let them decide if there's something they want to do. You can make it without having to put a bunch of money. You don't have to buy some $200 or $300 or $400 distilling unit or higher. A lot of them are even higher than that to do it. I mean, stainless steel pot with a lid, cut a hole in it, some copper tubing, a 5-gallon bucket, some water, and a little bit of research and knowledge.
So can you use it in, I think maybe you or Al had mentioned, can you use that to run like one of those little camp stoves? The one that usually, I think they usually take kerosene, right? Or what do they run off of?
They run off of white gas, gasoline.
They run off of gasoline? I thought they ran off of something different.
Pump up ones?
Yeah.
We used to, back when I was a kid, we used white gas. Right?
What's white gas? I'm not familiar with that.
Well,
it's not kerosene?
No, it's more like gas, but it was.
Okay. Yeah, we used to have one. I just can't remember what we put in it.
Just a very.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they could be modified to run off of that.
I think you have to modify anything as far as one of those camp stoves.
Mm.
You can make, heck, if you were in a bind and you had some and you had to stay warm, you could take a little coffee can, a metal one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put paper in there, put your alcohol in there, and burn it. It'll keep you warm. We used to use it a lot of times out in the deer blinds. But now propane heaters that are a lot more, a lot better.
Yeah.
And that's something that people should have, is some propane heaters around, even if it's just the little ones with the little bottles, where you could go into one room and stay warm. But even then, with those, you got to have some ventilation, because you kill yourself with the damn fumes off that damn thing. And I mean, really kill yourself. You can use it on the camp stoves. Kerosene, gasoline, alcohol.
I mean, the lanterns, I guess, the same pump-up lanterns.
I don't know if they'll work as well. I've never tried it. I would assume it could work, but there's a little different there. You're not just having a flame. You've got the mantle there that burns in, and the pollutants from some of this might not work very well with it. I just don't know. I'm assuming alcohol would probably work. I just don't. I bet somebody. I bet I could find out. Maybe I will. I'll look into some of that stuff if I remember. That's where I mean, there's so many questions that come up when you start doing some of this stuff. I didn't even think about checking into whether it would work on a propane lantern type deal. I mean, a Coleman lantern type deal.
Yeah. So that's some of the things it would be pretty practical to be able to use it for.
Yeah, and the situation we're trying to tell, we're talking about why I'm doing this. There you go. All kinds of different things you can do with it. Plus, you can use it for medical purposes too. Cleaning wounds. You can use it for sterilizing. A lot of people use alcohol for sterilizing. A lot of people use bleach. A lot of people use like peroxide and vinegar.
Peroxide's good. Sterilizing.
Peroxide. What peroxide won't kill them.
And then like white vinegar.
Yeah. To clean your surface. First, you peroxide to clean it up so you get rid of the smell and everything. And you'll kill about 99% of anything you'll ever.
Yeah, I got some peroxide from work that was 35%, and I was using that around the house. I mean, I was diluting it down to about 10, 15%, which is about 3 times stronger than the stuff you buy at the store. That's some potent stuff.
That was high percentages, so be careful.
Yeah, no. It's dangerous. Yeah, it's just nasty at 35%.
hardly get near that stuff and take a whiff of it without it not.
Oh yeah. We have 50% too. That stuff will catch your shoes on fire if you spill it on it. It's very reactive to organics.
And it's very reactive to metal.
Oh yeah, very much so. It'll leave off a lot of gas quick.
Uh,
You gotta be careful.
Unless you've got something to clean it again with right afterwards.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at buying, not to change subjects, but I'm looking to buy a small generator maybe this year.
Yeah, they're really not that expensive. A small one, like 1800 watt. You may not be able to run your air conditioning unit off of it, but
I want something to keep my fridge running.
Yeah, keep your food going. If you get a small cheap unit, put it aside. Or if you have one in a room, a lot of people still have some of those. That's what I got in my garage.
Yeah, I had to look because I heard someone saying that they had a really small one, and I'd never heard of it being so small, almost like the size of a. I don't even know how to describe it. But anyhow, I want to get some information. Maybe I'll get you to give me some recommendations at some point.
Okay.
I want to get some beef in bulk in the freezer, and I don't want to spoil if I lose power or something.
Yeah, and
plus it'd be good to have one.
For saving money.
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah, both. Well, yeah, I wanted to get some grass-fed beef, which is kind of expensive, but if you buy it in bulk, it's not that bad. You get down into like $3 or $4 a pound,
Yeah.
Which is a lot more manageable than like paying $10, $15 a pound for a steak or something. It's crazy. But yeah, so anyhow, I thought I might try to get some beef, and then, but I didn't want to do it if I didn't have it.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy bulk unless I had a generator to help me keep that stuff going and just continue. That would be a good idea. You take a big hit on money real quick if you lose all that.
Oh, and I'd be sick. Either that or I'd start eating really fast.
Yeah. And my neighbors
to go dehydrate all or something. Which wouldn't be a bad thing to do, probably. I don't have anything to do that with either.
Yeah.
That's not really an option.
I'm sorry, my throat's bothering me a little bit here. I gotta get some medicine.
That sounded like the lid off of a masonry jar.
Oh, what do we talk about now? Have you heard any information about what's going on with in politics and gun control, or you just been busy working?
I've been busy working. I don't know. I didn't really see. I guess he didn't write that executive order, but I saw something about that. And of course, you hear freaking Nancy Pelosi talking like he should just bypass the need to deal with Congress and just take action. That kind of crap scares me.
Yeah, I think he'll go that way if he doesn't get it done through Congress.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't think he's going to get it done through Congress, but I don't trust him. I think they'll sell us out for the right thing,
Yeah, but I mean, he's written so many. He's not the only one that writes executive orders, but the stuff he writes, it should scare anybody. I mean, if the stuff had any kind of legality to it, it'd be.
Well, I think a lot of the effect is we just don't know it.
Yeah.
Because they can affect taxes on things. They can affect companies and how much things cost companies to do. and then you see, a price go up on something, you just think it's inflation. Or you may not really notice the price that much because maybe it's only 5 cents a unit or 10 cents a unit, and it's, how many of us really notice 5 or 10 cents? Unless it's something that's, only costs 5 or 10 cents, then you notice it. But if you go out and buy a $5 bottle of something, how many of us pay attention to a 5-cent markup on it? Probably not many of us. I don't. I know, there's probably plenty of people that would, but personally I don't. And I don't think a lot of people do. But you start adding all this crap up, I mean, you start to notice it when you go to the grocery store and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You notice it pretty quick. So, I think most of us, for the most part, after, we go to the grocery store and buy pretty much the same stuff every time. Mm-hmm. And so you're used to, well, it's cost me $210 this time, and 6 months ago it was costing me $180. We noticed that.
Yeah, food prices have gone up. I used to go get groceries for $100 and get a lot of groceries, but you can't. It doesn't go as far. Have you ever seen a movie called Food Inc.?
Not that I can recall, no.
Yeah, it's not real new, but I had never watched it until I watched it on Amazon the other day. And I think I kind of knew most of it, but just to see it, what the food, the food industry, talks a lot about the food industry and about like some of the problems with these huge, like, cattle farms and farms that raise chickens, and basically what's become just a few big players that control these industries.
Yeah.
And what is pretty much, I don't know that it was really a planned effect, but what it's done to our food. If you want to keep calling it food, I guess that would be a stretch. But when you see it on film, even though I knew this stuff was going on, but when you see it, it's pretty powerful, pretty scary. And so anyhow, anybody out there wants to see it, I think it's good for people to get that perspective of what they're putting in their bodies.
Food Inc.? Food
Inc., yeah. And it wouldn't be surprising why people keep getting sicker. and also, it's not surprising why the government wants to pass, more regulations about food safety.
Yeah, the food safety want to do it, can control that crap.
Yeah, I work in the food industry, so I tend to not like the regulations, but you start, I know there's a lot of foodborne illnesses, but you can start to see why. It's kind of crazy the conditions these animals live in. Standing in crap up to their knees, living shoulder to shoulder, and then being, slaughtered in these slaughterhouses that process like 400 cattle an hour or something. I don't know what the numbers were. There's some crazy amount of meat processing, and the people that get to work in there, no wonder we're not all sick.
I wonder what it compares to, say, 50, 100 years ago. And I know there's a lot more people, so I'm thinking that, well, I may be wrong, but I was going to say, I think, like the slaughterhouses wouldn't have been as packed, but I bet they were even back then. They just would have been fewer of them.
Yeah, but
yeah. And I bet the cleanliness of it was not too good back then either. But I'm just wondering what it compares to over 50, 100 years of history. How much better it's gotten from all over that time.
I don't know. I think you might have risks in some ways. There might have been some problems back then, but now you have problems with, a lot of different hormones that they add to the food.
Yeah, and that's part of what I don't like.
Yeah. And just, people don't value even just the stress animals are under and how sick it can make them. And then, speaking of sick animals, they don't care if they're sick. they process them anyhow, you know. And,
Yeah, can't walk, drag it in.
yeah, I mean, and
As long as it's still alive.
yeah, and it's wild. And they also showed. I'm pretty sure it was the place that made the pink slime. The pink, is that what's called pink?
Yeah, I think it was called pink slime.
Yeah.
I don't know how much there was to that. I didn't get into it. I heard about it here and there.
Oh, they showed it. They let them film inside the plant, and that plant was massive, and it was just processing all kinds of animals, and it was just, you could see like ground up meat running down to these big conveyors, and then into these machines that they designed. Basically, what it does is like a centrifuge. It separates out the meat and the fat and stuff, almost like it does when you separate milk to get the cream out. And then they sell them in these big blocks of pink crap, and then companies that use it in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I heard about that one. It was pretty in the news a lot there for a while, and I heard about it, but I didn't follow it much.
It's a movie may have filmed that before the big pink slime thing came out, because I think that company, I don't know if it went under or not because of that. Because of the pink slime bad press.
Well, I guess it's just the way I am these days. Is I see those kind of stories come up now and again, and I wonder how much of it is political bullshit and how much of it's real. And like that one, I didn't follow it enough to really give an opinion one way or the other. So I'll leave it. You follow that kind of information about health and stuff more than I do. And I probably should follow it more, but I got a limit on where I can go with things, and and things that interest me, and that does interest me, but I get drawn away from it pretty easy.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out there so people could go check it out. It gets into a lot of the.
Well, I don't have a problem with bringing it up. I think it's good stuff to be talking about. Health issues are part of what's going on, and all these hormones and crap. I don't like all that stuff. I think we're ruining our health with a lot of the different things that are going on.
Well, we're ruining
farming and ranching and everything.
They're ruining the soil that they grow these crops on, and they know, the industry knows that there's only so many years left to that soil. They've already used the vast majority of the good topsoil, and it just keeps getting depleted. And
so I keep thinking about doing a garden. It's just I don't like gardening. I did it many years when I was a kid. It was like such a big chore. Maybe I'll just do one and see if it's different now, because I don't have kids now, so I could find more time for it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things about doing your own garden. I'm not a huge garden nut, but I think I want to do it because I want food that's
more healthy food.
Yeah,
it tastes better too.
Yeah, and if people want to look up, I forget what. I'll get some links and maybe put it on one of the next couple episodes we do. Because what I want to do is start researching so I can do my own garden this spring. I'm going to do like a raised bed.
Well, I know lots about dirt and plants and everything. I mean, and I think that's part of the reason I don't get into it so much, because that's what I do all day. Work with plants. And I think that's part of it. It's like a mechanic comes home and doesn't want to work on his own car.
Yeah. But there's benefits. Your body, historically, before we've become more modernized, we got a lot. Our bodies has good bacteria and bad bacteria in it, especially in the gut lining, and a lot of that good bacteria is picked up through contact with the soil and things like that. Like when hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, you would eat, you would pick up stuff off the foods, and that would populate your gut with good bacteria. But now we don't. Everything's just sanitized. We wash our food, which, with the way it's processed today, you almost have to.
I heard something the other day about people eating dirt, and that some people seem to think people eat dirt because their bodies tell them they need something that they're not getting.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that.
But I didn't follow it very far. I just, sometimes I hear something, but I'm working and I can't sit there and, follow through the story. But it caught my attention.
Well, I chew my fingernails. I always have, and they say that's a sign that your body needs minerals. It's like I don't know. I still don't know if I buy that because I still think it's a habit. But
I think it's a habit too, but I'm not an expert on that either.
I mean,
I don't chew my fingernails, but
I've been doing it since I was 6th grade, so I don't know. Just doesn't sense to me, but anyhow, like the dirt can be good just to work in it, just to get your hands in it, and it's good for you. It is if it's healthy dirt. So something we don't get enough of, I think. But anyhow, so I'm gonna get into this, make a garden, and then I'm gonna share some of that with people because I think it could apply to survival.
If you're going to do it, you better get started because it's going to be plant season for some of it, like onions already. It's time to put them in.
Well, it's still frozen here, so. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I need to find out quick.
Down here, it's already ready. We're already putting onions in. Not the seeds. The seeds went in October, but we usually don't put seeds in. We go buy the small plant.
Yeah, I want to do a raised bed, a garden like I've read about straw bale gardens, where you basically make like a square with the straw bales, and then you fill it up with compost and soil or something, whatever you can get. And I'm going to try that. So I'll let you know what I find out.
All right. If I go back to gardening, I'll throw my 2 cents in. Well, I'll probably throw my 2 cents in anyway. But I'm not big into vegetables either. That's part of our problem. It's kind of hard to raise enough corn to do me any good, and I like corn, but I don't like zucchini and there's lots of other stuff that I don't like.
Yeah, I'd like to get onions. I'd like to do some herbs too.
Herbs I would probably get into more because for adding to your foods and everything.
Yeah, you can do those maybe in a planter or something.
And we were talking about that the other day, doing some herb gardening. And I like strawberries, and I like watermelon, but I don't want to raise watermelon. I don't like it all that much. I'll eat it when it's around, but I like cantaloupe a lot. Tomatoes, I'm really good at growing tomatoes, but I really don't like them that much.
No, I don't think I want to eat a lot of tomatoes. I want to get some sweet potatoes.
I can't stand sweet potatoes. God.
Maybe I don't know if I can grow spinach or not. I don't even know what I can grow here, but I'd like spinach and some lettuce maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, first thing to do is sit down and start learning what zone you're in and what you can grow in that zone and what time of year to start them.
Yeah, I got to look at all that.
Because some of the stuff goes in early because it likes the cooler weather, and some of it goes in later because it likes the hot weather. Like tomatoes, they like it really hot, and peppers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I might do a few peppers.
We like peppers and stuff.
I might do some tomatoes just for my wife will eat them, kids will eat them, my mom and dad will eat them. Share them with some friends. I got plenty of water, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to pay the government to water my yard.
Although, yeah, I could do that too. I could catch some water off my roof, get some drums from work.
Yeah.
Drum of water.
Find me a stainless steel drum.
No, I don't have any stainless steel. I have some plastic ones, though.
No, I get plastic ones good enough. See, the stainless steel drum, if you got one for free, would be worth me having it shipped to me. They cost so damn much.
Oh, I'm sure.
But plastics, a dime a dozen.
I'm thinking, I have some chemical drums, but I think if I'm going to use any, I'll use the peroxide because it should be pretty food safe, I think.
Oh, yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, I just wash it out.
Yeah, you don't even have to wash it out. By the time you fill it up with water, it'll be so diluted you won't even know what was there.
Right, so...
Plus it evaporates out pretty quick.
Some of the other acids and stuff, I don't want to obviously use that. But
acids are fine.
Yeah, I just don't...
Just got to rinse the tank out a little bit, make sure.
Yeah, I have to make sure it's clean and good.
Especially for a gardening type deal. Acid barrels wouldn't hurt a damn thing. In fact, it may be beneficial. depending on what your pH and stuff are in your ground.
Yeah, I don't know what else they put in it though. I'll just stick with something that's a little bit safer. But yeah, the only thing I was worried about with the roof runoff water is all that little the stuff that comes off your shingles. Like my shingles are older, like my roof's gonna need soon, and I get all that black asphalt type stuff.
Don't even worry about it. It won't hurt a thing.
Okay.
Not for gardening. It won't hurt anything. That's all.
As far as for...
It's just like gasoline or diesel.
No, but
if you put it on strong enough, it'll burn it, but it turns into fertilizer shortly afterwards.
Yeah, but what if I was going to use that water in an emergency and I needed to drink some? Could I boil it, you think?
If you got a good filter, it's not going to hurt anything. That stuff's been up there so long, if it's falling out, it's so dry, it's not going to hurt a thing.
Okay.
In an emergency situation, it's probably going to be better water with that in it than what you're going to go get.
Yeah, probably.
Places. You know, if you're going to go around in puddles around the ground, you know, dig up water, because that kind of runoff is probably going to have fertilizers and oils and, you know, no telling what's in it,
right.
Herbicides. But you'll filter all that stuff out too. But in an emergency situation, especially a short term, I wouldn't worry about it as long as you got a decent filter.
Okay.
And the kind of water, you get a good filter, the kind of water you could take, you wouldn't want to put your hands in, and you can run through those filters, and it's fine for drinking because it gets rid of so much of that stuff. And after that, if you're still worried about it, just boil it, and you're fine.
Okay.
I see that question come up quite a bit. And we've done a lot of testing on water. I know a lot about water from aquariums and saltwater, freshwater, water research, purifying it, plant usage, and how to treat it to get it out into the septic, out in the sewer legally, you know, all that kind of crap. Been there.
Okay.
In an emergency situation, you won't have. It's not something I would want to do every day for long term. It would probably still be just fine, but for emergency situations, even for several months, wouldn't be a problem. I would drink it longer than that, as long as I had a good filter. So anyway, what's next? Next, I can't think of what's next.
What do you mean, what's next?
Sit here and badmouth Pelosi and bunch of idiots out there. What's that stupid idiot from England that's on the radio?
Piers Morgan.
Yeah, Piers Morgan. God, he needs to be run out. I wish enough people would get together and tell whoever's advertising with him, we're not going to do that.
I mean, you could say that about 90% of the channels on all those channels.
Yeah.
I mean,
ABC, CBS, CNN,
and then even the guys on Fox, they're slanted their own way. That you know, I don't trust them either half the time. I mean, they got their own agenda.
You've got to. That's something I wanted to talk about, and I may have talked about this before, and I don't know. Let's see if I can explain it here. You know, I listen to Rush sometimes. I listen to Glenn Beck sometimes. Alex Jones, Fox News, and several different ones, several different websites, several different podcasts. Don't trust any of them. Don't sit there and listen to them and just think they're spewing the gospel out to you. Don't listen to me and think I'm right on, you know, what I feel and what I think and what I research, I feel comfortable about it. But I always try to go back and check, and anytime I think I know something pretty well and I pretty much got my mind made up and I hear something different, I try to pay attention to that with an open mind and go back and research it and see if it changes my mind or gives me a different attitude about it, whether it be, well, you know, maybe a certain topic was very important to me, but then after I find out more information, maybe it's not anymore because I found out the information is good information. So it may not be as important because I won't be as concerned about it. But none of us, like Alex Jones the other day, he's kind of out there for a lot of people. Have you ever listened to Alex Jones?
Yeah, sure.
He's kind of out there, right?
Yeah, I like Alex Jones.
I do too. But I have always felt that some of the stuff he does is played up. Part of it's for entertainment value. Part of it's to get people worked up. Part of it's for sensationalism. But the other day really hit me hard when he did his little crying thing. Did you hear that? When he's crying about the babies, the kids?
No, I don't. No, I haven't.
Go back and find it. It was so fake to me. You
I don't know.
Listen to it. You have to go. If I find it again, I'll go back and see if I can find it. And you got to listen to it. It was so fake to me.
I used to, I got started into like people like Alex Jones when I was working night shift a lot. I watched that what's that radio show? It's on like 1, 2, 3 a.m.
I'm usually not listening at the time of night.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but
that's all right.
There's all kinds of people on there that have different kind of thinking on things. I think Alex Jones might have been on there. The name of it escapes me. But it's a pretty interesting show. Something about After Dark or something.
Yeah, it rings a bell now what he said, but I don't remember what it was.
I think Al used to listen to it when he was driving truck.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned.
Well,
yeah, I agree with you, though. I think he's a little bit over the top, but I think
he put some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, his work over the last 10, 15 years, I bet you a lot of the stuff he says has come true.
Yes, I think a lot of it is true. And some of it I even have trouble with. But I think there's a good possibility he might be right. And some of it is, he's talking about these elite groups and they eat babies, chocolate-covered babies and stuff, gold-covered whatever, And I have trouble with that. But I'm not saying he's lying about it either. I mean, I've seen some back through history, and that's where a lot of that stuff come from. There was some pretty weird stuff going on, and some of that kind of stuff was going on, according to some of the history stuff I've seen and read. Maybe it's just that it's such a terrible thing. I have a hard time with it because it's so far out there, and I just can't grasp it. But I have a hard time with that.
And unfortunately, sometimes people latch on to one thing like that and then write them off as a kook. Yeah, whether it's true or not, making the assumption it's not true,
Yeah, and I wouldn't do that. He's got too many things in his past that have shown up right. Lots of good research, lots of good articles, news, lots of good broke stories that he's done. So I'm not going to throw him out the window, just because there's something I don't agree with him. I can't do that because I can't believe you don't like Rush, but you like Alex Jones. But Rush has got his things too.
I don't like Rush. I think he's obnoxiously self-absorbed. I mean, I'm not saying what he says isn't true. I just can't stand to listen to him because I think the guy is a pompous ass. But
yeah, see, I don't really think he is. I think he's having more fun with it than anything else. But I may be wrong.
That's just the way I take it. I mean, I like Glenn Beck. I mean, I think I like his style, I guess, a little more. But I'm not saying people wouldn't have issues with him. I mean,
and I think
sure you've got something he might rub people the wrong way. But
I think Glenn Beck has found a medium ground.
Yeah. Between
the extremes on both sides, and I think that's what he plays to. And I think it's I'll say contrived, but that's not really the word I'm looking for, because contrived kind of, I think, is too harsh of a word for what I'm really looking for. But I think that he plays to that, and I don't think it's really him.
Well, I think Glenn Beck puts more effort into his show.
I think he does put a lot of effort into his show. I think
he does a lot more journalistic type of approach, and a lot more and Rush just it's just his opinions, which a lot of there's some truth to it, but it's more opinions than trying to.
Yeah, it's not like he's out there with the news channel breaking news and website breaking news and stuff. It's both mainly news things that come up, and he is reciting his opinion on it, which is fine, you know.
Glenn Beck always seems to at least trying to look throughout history and find, you know, he seems to be more knowledgeable about his history and the world history and the U.S. history. And, you know, if you're into the biblical parts and stuff, I know that's one of his things. I'm not really, but I know he knows his facts there. But it's probably one of the few things that bugs me about him. But
well, I guess what I'm saying is and that doesn't really matter who it is. Just don't get into that thing where you think they're right just because they say it, because they're not.
Exactly.
You can't trust anybody. There was a TV. It was a movie, I believe it was on TV most of the time. I don't know if it was ever in the theaters. It was a long time ago. I believe it was black and white.
You're dating yourself.
Remember Andy Taylor? What's his name? Real life? You know, Mayberry RFD. Andy Taylor.
Yeah, I don't know his real name.
Andy Griffith. But whatever, I think so. Anyway, he was in a movie, and he played. He got on the radio and he's talked about politics and all kinds of things, and he really got people wound up, and he got them worked up, and he had people really believing in him that he was such a great person, and they were just all behind him, and he was just working them the whole time. He was working them.
Oh, really?
And at the end, you know, he comes out and he was supposedly off the air or something, and just said, you know, I got them tied up. I mean, I got them wrapped around. You know, I can make them do anything I want to, and blah 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 blah. Well, I'd like to look at these people with that in my mind. Don't follow anybody like that to any degree. Look at everything they say, see what it's worth, keep the good, throw out the bad, go check it out. Don't follow anybody. Nobody, I mean, like a lot of people are doing with Obama right now. I mean, he's like God. He couldn't do anything wrong. He's great, you know. Bullshit. He's human. He's fallible. He's dangerous. So just, you know, figure it out.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's hard to figure out any politician nowadays.
Well,
what their real.
If they're conservative, don't trust them. And if they're not conservative, don't turn your back on them.
Yeah, I mean, none of them.
Conservative. Well, maybe I should say, you know, any of them. I don't trust any of them anymore.
Well, did you hear about the? I'm sure you did. You know, the aid. I guess that the big controversy was around the aid for Sandy victims and how there was all the slush funding in there for.
Yeah.
Okay.
They come back and act like the Republicans because they're doing such a terrible thing because they won't let the slush fund go through with it. But that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Was that Boehner that put that in there, or is he the one taking all the heat for that?
You know, I didn't follow that story.
I didn't either, but I mean, it just shows you, though. I mean, Rand Paul was ranting about how disgusting it was that they were putting all this, they were proposing this funding, and then they have all these other. I mean, people in Alaska were going to get paid.
Then they come back and tell you that, oh, the Republicans are hateful people because they won't pass it. They won't pass it because you put the crap in there because you're playing politics with these people's lives.
It's just craziness.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what, though. It's been about an hour. My voice has been about as far as it's going to go tonight. So I want to remind y'all, livefreenews.com, bestbugoutbadcontent.com. We're here at Talk Shoe Live, Politics and Preppers, Saturday night. Stop by any of these places. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you're thinking. You can find it, Politics and Preppers, on iTunes. Go over there and listen to us there, download it. I mean, you can rate it, get us up, help get us up there, rate a little bit higher, get some more, get us out to more people. We got some things coming up. Still waiting to see where we get with them, how fast, and so stay tuned, and we'll see how it goes. Mike, thanks for stopping by. Maybe I'll be back next week. Get some rest because I know you're tired. I'm gonna go take some medicine. Hillbilly now, and no, I don't really. I mean, I don't drink hardly at all. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for stopping by.